This is a full body foam rolling routine. We're gonna cover the larger muscles, the larger areas, and just show you generally where are the most common areas of tightness. This is about a 10-minute routine. You're gonna start with your left hip. So we're gonna roll the back and outside of this left hip, the butt area, from right below your lower back to right where the bottom of the hip is, the sits bone. And what we're looking for, every single area that we roll over, is to try to find a tender spot, right? An area of tightness that we can put pressure on and encourage that area to relax and to release. Foam rolling routines, self-massage routines are really good at getting blood flow to that area, increasing the circulation and blood flow. Now, if you find a tender spot, tight area, that's above a 5 on a 1 to 10 scale, I want you to continue to apply pressure there, just like I'm doing here. I'm not rolling anymore. And you're going to breathe for about 5 breaths until the tension starts to reduce down to at least 50% or so. Now, some areas are going to be so tight that you're not going to be able to reduce the tension that much. So from this hip, we're going to go to the side of the hip and the side of that thigh. This is known as your TFL on the front, hip flexor, down the IT band, outside of that thigh, your vastus lateralis. We're going to roll from the hip to right above the knee. The legs are stacked to put more pressure on the foam roller onto the tissue. We're going to want to do this with control, and we're going to want to do it slow enough that if we do find something above a 5 on a 1 to 10 scale, we're going to pause there and breathe calmly. If you're holding your breath, or if you're clenching or tightening up, you're going to create more tension in the body instead of getting the tightness, stiffness, and tension out of your body. After you've done about 5 breaths on a tender spot that's above a 5 on 1 to 10 scale, you can go to the next tender spot. If there is not a tender spot above a 5 on a 1 to 10 scale between the hip and the knee, then we'll go to the next area. You'll want to roll about 5 times from the hip to the knee, trying to find something that's tight. Okay, so I've got the front of that thigh to go next on this left side. I'm going to spin around here so you can get an angle of it. Notice this right side is hanging off. So I'm going from my left hip to, in the front, to above the left knee in the front. This is the vast front of that thigh, front of the quad muscle. Again, rolling up and down from the hip to the knee, trying to find the most tender spot. If there's a tender spot above a 5, we're going to hang out there. Just say if this was above a 5, I'd hang out here and breathe. Notice my back is not overly arched. My hips, shoulders, there's a straight line between the two. I'm breathing. I'm not tightening up anywhere like neck or shoulders. Continuing to breathe and relax. Using the breath to help us relax and stimulate that blood flow to the tight areas. And then from here, I could continue to roll up and down on the front of that thigh, searching for more tight spots above a 5. In this case, we don't have one, so I'm going to slightly turn my left foot, left knee out towards you. Just turn it out and get more of the inside of that thigh. So from the inside of that, above that knee, to the inside of that hip, that's going to be the vastus medialis, the inside of that quad muscle. Right here is a little bit tighter above my knee on the inside, so I'm going to spend a little bit more time on there and breathe. Keeping my lower back from arching, keeping pressure on that foam roller, that spot. After about 5 breaths, I'm going to move, in this case, I'm going to go right into the inner thigh. From my hip to the inside of the knee. This is the adductor. So I'm going to bend this hip, this left hip, 90 degrees, and this knee. They have to stay bent to keep pressure on the foam roller, to put enough pressure to help roll and massage out the tight spots to increase that blood flow to that area. So again, from the hip to the knee, back and forth, about 5 times or so to see if we could find any tender spots. If you don't find anything, that's okay. You'll go to the next spot. I'm not finding anything on here, so now, after doing the back of that left hip, the side of that left hip, side of that left thigh, and the front of that left thigh and inside of that left thigh, I'm going to do all of those same areas on my right hip. So this is the back of the right hip, right below the lower back. Gonna roll down to my sits bone. It's gonna be on the side and the back, searching for the most tender spot. Usually the most tender spot on this right hip is at the top, right below that lower back. Mine's not above a 5, so I'm not gonna hang out there. I'm just kind of rolling over it just to make sure. And again, stopping if you need to and breathing. All right, so now I'm gonna go to the hip flexor on the side, the TFL on this right side, right below and right above that hip. You feel that bony point. Go from there, keeping the legs stacked. If you need to put this leg, top leg, left leg in this situation on the ground to take off pressure because it's too intense, do so. Try to work your way to stacking the legs. If you need to take a beach towel, wrap it around your foam roller, or get a softer foam roller, please do. But whatever you do, try to continue to foam roll. It's good for you. It's good for that circulation. We're always hearing the benefits about circulation, why we should be concerned about keeping good blood flow, right, to our areas, vital organs, muscles, and tissue. So most my tension on the side is closer to the knee, so I'm gonna hang out here and breathe. I don't wanna sag into it, right? I wanna try to keep a straight spine, good posture, breathe, so I can breathe well. You know that correlation between breathing well and good posture? If you have good posture, you'll be able to breathe well. If you breathe well, you're gonna have good posture. All right, so I've gotten the side of that right thigh. Now I'm gonna get the front of that right thigh. I'm gonna spin around. So you can see me getting the front of this right hip down to right above the front of that right knee. Okay, right above it. So far so good, not finding anything jumping out. 5 times. Notice I'm only doing about 3, because I know what it feels like, the trigger points. It might take you a little bit longer. I'm not finding any trigger points or tight spots. Now I'm going to turn my right foot, right knee out towards you a little bit. Still get the front inside of that thigh. Okay, nothing so far. And then I'm going to show you from the side, this right inner thigh, from my right groin, right inside of my hip, the inside of that right knee. Keeping this knee bent, this hip bent and knee bent 90 degrees allows me to maintain pressure onto the foam roller and pressure onto my muscle, inside thigh, the adductor. Make sure you continue to breathe calmly, smoothly, deeply, and you continue to make sure that your hands, your jaw, and other areas are staying relaxed as you do this. Any tension that you create while doing this should be in your core to help keep your alignment. Okay, we've done the legs, the major areas of the legs. Now we're going to do our upper back. Upper back is going to be right above our lower back. This tends to be most people's favorite. This is usually where most people actually start. So this is above your lower back to right below your neck. That feels so good. You can bring your hands down if you want to here, or you can continue to support your head and neck. But you'll roll square below the neck, back of the shoulders, to right above your lower back. Now I'm having you intentionally stop before going over your lower back, because Some people may experience pain or too much torque on their lumbar spine. Some people might not. You might be okay. You might be the exception, but we're going to err on the side of caution. And like with any exercise program, before you start or even do this one, I want you to always consult a medical professional, your medical professional and our doctor. Okay? All right. Nothing so far above a 5. So I'm going to slightly rotate towards you, get the right side of my spine, bottom of the rib cage on the back, right side of that spine, up to the back of that shoulder blade. So far, so good. Nothing above a 5. So I'm going to continue to the next one. All right. So on the side, got my shoulder blade right here. My lat muscle, see how it connects to my upper arm? I'm going to start there. That's a common area of tightness. I'm going to roll around a little bit right there, and then I'm going to roll forward to get my chest muscle a little bit. Ladies, you can exercise more caution in this situation. And if you're tender or you're sensitive, always be careful. Always take your time, go slow. Gradually work into it, gradually build. Always err on the side of caution. Okay, that feels great. Now I'm going to do the left side. So I'm going to spin around here, left side of my spine, right above the lower back on the left side of that spine to the left shoulder blade. Okay, a few strokes up and down. We're almost done with the major areas. Full body foam rolling routine. You guys are doing great. All right, now on the side of the shoulder blade, underneath the armpit area, back of the arm, searching. You don't know where the tightness may be. If it's not there, keep searching. Might be at a slightly different angle. That's why I'm trying all the different angles to see if I can find it. Some people might not have to search too far or too long. Some people may have to search more than others, but keep searching. It's going to help increase that blood flow along the way. There you have it. I hope you find this helpful and you've increased your blood flow along the way. Have a good one.